All right, I have started the recording and yeah, okay, let's do this. Okay, first of all, thank you for being here. Um, this is kind of like an impromptu session, but this is the things that I'm gonna share to you is something that I have been doing, and I think it's good to share it to you guys. We're gonna start with like high level stuff, and eventually, if we have time for today, we're gonna make it more technical. Um, I am also planning maybe on the next session, maybe tomorrow, I will um like showcase to you how I code a page. Maybe that will be very helpful. But let's start with some high level stuff, okay? So first of all, um the topic we're gonna discuss is how to be quick and effective. And the main question is, why do we need to be quick and effective? It's very obvious, but if you think of it like in a business perspective, um, and you are paid $20 per hour, let's say, right? And um, and if you can finish a job for 1 hour, your your employer would like you very much. It's the same for every company. It's the same for every employer. Um, And actually, like the faster you become, the higher the price you can charge your employer, or like you have more leverage. Um, and I think that has helped me um, in my coding and in my career. And so I want to teach you some of the things, some of the maybe hacks that I do. So also I want to have what do you say, like a notion, like a statement of why is it so important and what is really, I think you guys know about this already. Like what's the most expensive currency, right? It's not pesos, it's not dollars, it's not Bitcoin, it's time. And and if you have and if you can manage your time really well, like because every time it passes, you cannot get it back, right? So you need to learn that time is very precious and we have to use it wisely. Just let's say I have a full-time job, like most of you guys. I work 8 hours a day. I even travel to my work, and that takes 2 hours of my work, 2 hours of my day. So that's 10 hours um, away from Project Neo, from my startups, from learning. And um, not to brag, but I think I'm pretty effective. I can be more effective, but I'm also like, you know, learning a lot of things. So yeah, and I learned that if you can be quick and effective, you can finish a lot of things, and you can be what do you say, really productive, and like there's a lot of benefits to it, right? Like if you finish your work early, you have more time to study something, you have more time to do your hobby and stuff like that. So that's point number one. Point number two, um, why are we slow? So when I was building the thing that I told you guys, I was building a landing page because I was going through a client, and uh, the task was like to build a landing page. It's pretty complicated. It was I can show you guys how it looks like. Oops. It's even more complicated than Project Neo because they put a lot of like gotchas in in the wait, in the landing page. So it looks like this. You can see that, right? It looks simple just looking at this, but um they made it in a way that mobile and desktop are different to each other. and like little details. Like this one, they look the same. Like these badges, they look the same, but they're not. And yeah, there's a lot of little and detailed complication. And both mobile and desktop, I finished it for 7 hours. But that is not, that is like because I really focused and I really wanted to finish it really quick. And I kind of wished I recorded it while I was doing it because I was also shocked that I could do it in such a short time. And I believe that, if I can do that, you guys can do it too. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but there are some nuggets here that you can pick up from how I work, from how other seniors work, right? So I identified while I was doing this, right? Um, that I decide really quick. I One of the problems is why we're slow is because poor decision making. And when I was deciding the coding this landing page, I decide pretty quick. Like I know what I'm doing. Um, um, well, they already told me I'm gonna use Next.js, Tailwind, everything that we do, and then I know that I want to use atomic design. So um, from the start, I how do you say? I had a plan. I will talk more about this. I had a plan. I I like working on desktop first approach because I can see things more clearly. It's easier for me to, you know, um, I don't know. It's just how I am. It's easier for me to do desktop and also for functionality. It's easy to click things. Um, so I have I have this like hacks on deciding quickly because what happens is we got distracted really fast. So this is not only when I was doing this landing page. Just imagine that your brain is kind of like working like a RAM, like CPU with a RAM. And once you what do you say, overload it with data, with anything, um it's slower to process things. So you cannot overload your brain. So what do I mean by overloading the brain? um think of maybe your brain like a browser. If you have 1,000 tabs, do you think it's performant with those tabs? um that's how I think. So what I do, I have uh I manage the what do you say? The tips that I do for myself is like I have three things that I manage every day because we're in the digital world, right? Email management, browser management, and notification management. I'm talking about basic stuff. So email management, wake up, do my stuff, and look at my email, and then delete everything that I don't need. Delete it. Why are you keeping them? Why are you keeping them open? Because for me, if I have too many emails unopened, it's gonna be stuck in my brain. And while I'm working, it's gonna come to my brain. I'm gonna wander off, and I'm gonna be like, wait, I didn't answer to that, or like I didn't read that. And make use of Gmail. You can like label them as must read, label them as newsletter. That's what I do. Um, and then I only keep stuff unopened, maybe like max 10. And then I make sure by the end of the day, I read everything. I took note of everything. I message everyone. I, like, just imagine this. If you are a CEO of a company, do you think he's gonna manage all of his emails? He has a assistant for that. But it's the same for you. We don't have assistants, so who else is gonna do that? Us, right? So that's how I manage my emails because I don't wanna overload my brain with too many emails. So I manage that. And the next one is browser management. I I used to have like thousands of browsers when I was younger, like when I was in college, because like I want to learn everything, like tabs, 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 and then like I don't know when it happened, but like no one taught me that, but I was like, this is too much. I don't even know why my 24th tab is here. It's so hard to search something. It's like it's just overloading my brain. And also, um, it's also helping your CPU. If you have too many browsers, it's just not gonna help you. It's not gonna help your PC. So yeah, manage your browser. Next one is notification management. If you look at my phone, I'm on silent mode because I don't want to hear any notification if I'm because I'm almost always working. So I only look at my phone when I'm ready to look at my notification. And if you look at my phone, the only app that has notification is Proton Mail because that's like all promotions. And I'm gonna manage that later on. But everything else like Gmail, Facebook, Instagram, all my Facebook, sorry, all my social media apps, all my whatever has no notification because I don't want to overload my brain. Like it's just I don't want to see like 10,000 the next day is to 12,000 and it's just gonna tickle my brain while I'm working, like no, I don't want to deal with all that notifications. So that's one of the ways I don't get distracted. Um Another thing is that um poor decision making is because lack of experience, right? Um, is I mean, I was in the same shoes as you guys. I was also a 1 year or like less than a year um, worker. So there will be many, many times we don't know how something works. We don't know why server-side rendering is like this. We don't know why use state it works like this. What is use effect? What is CSS? What is But you know what? You don't have to know everything. And also, you are in a very good advantage because you can ask an expert. You guys are paying for our Neo Pro. Make use of Discord, be noisy, and you're paying us to be your experts. The worst thing that can happen is we're gonna ignore you for a day, but you will get your answer no matter what it is, right? So that's one. And the second one for the problem of lack of experience is you gotta practice. You gotta practice, practice, practice until you don't make the same mistakes again. I have made so many mistakes in the past. I have um I probably done the same mistakes 30 times. And one of the things that I do is if I make the same mistakes, and I have learned the solution, I type it somewhere, like on my notes. I have Google Keep, I have Notion to keep all my notes, and because I want to document my learning, right? Um, and that is how you learn, and that is how you build your experience. Um, so yeah, that's what we're doing here. We want to practice in Neo Pro. We want to practice. We want to make mistakes. Y- Don't be afraid to make mistakes, guys. What is the worst thing that's gonna happen? We the high web dev, for example, we don't even have users. We, Nothing so much is at stake, and we're not gonna push to prod right away. We have staging, and there are people like me and Gavin who is like taking care of the quality. Oh, why is there fireworks? Uh, and yeah, so don't be afraid to make mistakes. That is, you've guys seen all those memes, all those like in FB, like um, the only way forward is to try and fail. And yeah, so I encourage you guys to practice and yeah, just don't be afraid to make mistakes. Okay, now we go to we are afraid of unknowns because we're slow because stuff like let's say we're working on next image, next JS image. We've never used it before. We never read the docs. We don't know how what props they have, but that's okay. Everybody is in your same position as before, and you only know what to try what you just know. Like for example, you know that an image has a width, an image has a height, but like you never really tried it before, and you're afraid to like dig deep into it, and you're also afraid to get into the rabbit hole, I think. And that happened to me many times. But before going to the rabbit hole thing, so how do you deal with the unknowns, right? We have four code bases: Ain't High Web Dev, Keywordy, Project Neo. And the oldest is Ain't. If, for example, you're working on next image, most probably Ain't has next image. So go to that code base, search for next image, and see the usage. Make use of your IDE, guys. Look for that specific technology, next image, use state, use effect, use callback, Tailwind CSS, Tailwind config, wherever on the code bases. You have four code bases here, and learn from that. You'll see examples. If we don't have this example, ask Google. We are living in a information era. Go to ChatGPT, ask for examples. If you don't trust ChatGPT, ask him, can you give me the resources, the website links? And then try and iterate fast, right? And how to deal more with unknowns is to learn how to debug properly. Guys, make use of dev tools. The in Chrome or any browser. I love Chrome. Like Chrome is really fast in debugging. And one thing that so let's say you have an example, like you're working on Project Neo and you have Ainboard, run them together, compare it. Like go to the Chrome and like see, oh, okay, so this one has a div, has a parent div. This one has this class name. So let's see if I try it this way, isn't it? So that is one of the things how I work as well. So when I was doing that landing page, the one that I showed you earlier, I was also copying from Ainboard also, I think. I was going to Ainboard. I think I did this before already, but I cannot like dig into my brain to like to see. I mean, I don't have a search engine in my brain to just, look for it. So I went to Ainboard and see, oh, okay, this is how I did it, right? Okay. I hope you're still with me. Please send a please send a thumbs up if you're still with me. Thank you, thank you. All right, next. Um, Rabbit hole. Sometimes we get into a rabbit hole when you're afraid of unknown and or something like you are too interested with a technology. Maybe you want to know how state works. This happened to me because I wanted to teach you guys like fundamentals. So I was like, okay, I want to know how state works. You know what I did? I downloaded the GitHub repo, React GitHub repo, and I was digging, digging, digging. But what if like after 2 hours you still have no solid answer? If you were being paid for $20, that's $40 lost. What's a better way to do this? There's something called time boxing. Time box yourself. 30 minutes, time box. If I still cannot find what I'm looking for, ask an expert. There's like a lot of, it's not only our Discord, there's like Reactive Flux, there's like Can't See Does um, Discord, there's Reddit, Stack Overflow, ChatGPT. Use it. Use these resources. All right. If you're still not satisfied with the answer, you know what I do? Park it for later. Like, okay, this is not the time for it. I don't have to learn this. Just, it's okay to give up, guys. But what you're gonna do, you're gonna keep these notes, Keep your learnings, keep your notes in somewhere in your notes like Google Keep or Notion, and note it like I want to explore this, or like under your I want to explore or I want to research. But park it because you've done too much already. That's because you have committed for time boxing it for 30 minutes, right? So that is the point number two. Now let's go to point number three, some hacks. What I do when I'm coding, or like just in general, actually, no, when I'm coding, is I keep two different browser apps, one for browsing, one for testing. Because if I want to clear cache, I want to debug, I have like React Dev Tools extension, I have Redux Tools extension. I don't want to deal with my other browsing because I don't want to, because if I clear cache, if I clear cookies and stuff like that, my browser, my Google, like maybe my Gmail will be reset. I don't want to do that. So what do? I have Arc for browsing, Chrome for testing. You can try it this way too. Also, this is the most technical part of this video is before diving into a task, have a game plan. So remember, when I was doing this homepage right here, okay, you know what I did? I was like, I stepped back and I didn't go to coding right away. That is number one that you're not gonna do. Number one, you're gonna step back and analyze everything. How do you analyze? Uh, I use something like Escalidraw. I took a screenshot and I identified, because we're using atomic design, I identified the um, the components, the bigger components and the smaller components. I was like, okay, so there's the hero, there's the search and filter, so you know which one is a component already. This is another component, you know, this is a banner, this is a footer, and then I'm like, okay, I think those are the bigger components. And then what is inside those components? Oh, here, there's like another smaller component. This is a molecule now. This is another molecule. And this one, footer links, footer contact. And when you're done here, I mean, you've done the heavy lifting already. You've really you're done with the heavy lifting because you know what's going on, right? So that's what I do. And yeah, so I'm not gonna dive deep on how to um code that kind of landing page, or like a template. But yeah, that's all I planned for today. But probably tomorrow I'm gonna video, and I'm gonna show you how I code a specific template. Not the whole page, but like, maybe a hero or something. So yeah, that is it. I talked about many things. I can share to you guys my notes about this talk. So now we can go to Q&A. Please be proactive, and I hope you had some takeaways, and I'm pretty sure you have some questions. So the floor is open to anyone now to ask, or like if you have clarifications, please ask now. If no one's gonna ask, I'm gonna ask you. Okay, I'm gonna ask you because you're not asking me. I'm gonna start with Raven. Raven, how do you manage your browser? There's no sound.
Yeah. What do you mean? How do I manage browser?
Yes.
like specific, what do you mean?
Oh, were you there when we were talking about it? Um,
What's at point two?
yeah, I was at point two as well. I was like in for decision making. I was talking about distractions, how to deal with distractions. Were you there when I talked about it?
No, no.
Oh, okay. So, oh, Toby, I don't know that. Sean, can you share about that? Or maybe Sean is about to sleep, so probably. Okay. Um, what about uh what question can I ask? What do you think? Okay, let's analyze, okay? Is we started a month ago, right? And there's a lot of us. Not all of us are newbies, but what is it that's stopping us from being fast and effective on delivering code? I know there was a typhoon, so let's cancel that out. There was a typhoon. I know some of you only work on weekends, but let's just focus on doing the task itself. Okay? When you're on your chair, on your seat, and you're doing your task, what do you think is that there is that's stopping you or like slowing you down?
I think,
Uh,
is it Lexa?
it's
Oh,
me. No, yeah. Okay.
Ikaw
You
ba, ikaw ba?
can.
Sige, ikaw muna, ikaw muna.
Uh, okay, for me, I think it's really, I need to do time blocking, and I need to decide faster on when to ask,
mm-hmm,
because
mm-hmm.
sometimes I feel like I don't want you to think that I want spoon feeding.
Okay, okay.
If I ask too many questions, that's why actually, if I didn't ask Raven yesterday about
Hmm.
the slider, I might have spent a lot, I mean,
Yes.
hours, more hours.
This is what
And
I
it
okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
turns out I only need to import CSS.
You know what you could have done there as well? Because that slider has been done on another page. You could have
Yeah.
went on that page and analyzed the file and see what is missing. A lot of things
Okay.
in the in coding, it's just like there are missing pieces, and you just gotta. It's like how do you? It's like puzzle, It's a puzzle. There's just a missing piece that you have to put in, and maybe the missing piece is just somewhere on the left side, on the top side, and you just have to fit it in
Yeah.
there. But thank you so much.
Yeah.
About the spoon feeding. Um, I'm just saying. Even if you guys don't pay us, in the real work, it's like I think I've shared like screenshots to you guys about, in the LinkedIn, people are saying it's really not good if junior devs don't ask. Okay, let's say you're afraid of being spoon fed. Maybe we should have a structure on how to ask questions. What I do personally to ask questions is I do research first, right? So I do my research. I have done step one, two, three, and I don't know what happened. So now the next thing to do is like maybe the question would be, what am I missing? Or like because if you ask something like, can you help me? That is too broad. Like what do you mean I can help with what? So you have to like put it in a context, right? Okay, this is my problem. Something is not showing, or like the button is not working. That is the problem. The next one is like, I did step one, step two, step three, still not working. The next one is like, the last one is the action you want us to do, the action you want the export to do. So let's say it could be something like, I am stuck. Can you have a call with me? I'm stuck. Can you give me do you know where I can see this in our code base? I am stuck. Can you point me to an article? You have to like somehow give us an action so we can help you. I think the most uh like the last question is the broadest question would be like, I'm really stuck, I need your help. Um yeah, that's it. I think that's like the last question. But like so those are the points. Yeah. Okay, Raven.
Just to add to Lexa, yesterday we're comparing the both sliders. It's my fault because I'm the one who forgot to import the CSS on the first slider. So
Oh, you did.
when she
Sorry.
compares it with
You
my slider, it's all the same. So I went to the documentation, and then I knew I forgot to import the CSS, and
wait,
that
wait a
fixed it.
minute. Wait a minute. Are you saying on your slider you also don't have the CSS?
Yeah.
So your
So
slider is also not
I'm just
working?
lucky. It's working. I'm just lucky. I guess it's in the first page.
Okay, that's funny.
Yeah.
So, yes, that is another
So
thing.
yeah, I believe in a dance meme.
Yes, you have to read documentation. That's the very first thing you have to do. I think one of the things that um um uh programmers have to be very good at is reading documentation and reading code. Reading code is something that I learned kind of recently, because what I would do is like when I'm coding review, right? I coding reviewing code, I'll be like, okay, this is good, this is good, this is good. But I don't actually read the code properly. Like I don't know what the code is doing. There are like ways. I give you a story. Like I sent I sent a PR. No, how do you say? I had a PR review because we're merging the future branch to develop branch, like more than 10 files. But the architect, my senior, the architect was able, he didn't even have the repository. He didn't even run it, but he looked at the code and he knew what was happening. He had like 5, 10 comments. And then I'm like, oh my God, I have to learn from him. And yeah, so you have to understand how to read code as well. So that's one of the tips I want to give you too. Okay. Um, I think if you're opening your camera, it means that you want to talk. Aldrin, do you have anything? Okay, no. Yes?
Um, for me, we're the same. I'm the same with Alexa. I'm a bit shy asking questions because about spoon feeding, I want to 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 unblock myself most of the time, and also I'm getting slowed down because I'm guilty to the part that I'm overloading my mind, like the like a ra- like like what you said, the RAM.
Mm-hmm.
It happened to me,
Mm,
so
mm-hmm.
that is what slows me down. I
Mm-hmm.
experienced that.
Yeah,
So yeah, I get it. I'll try to apply it,
cool.
what you said in this session.
Good. Thank you. And you know what, guys? Eventually you will have your own framework too. Like you'll be very productive to the point that maybe you will have better framework and hacks than I do, right? Um, this is not what I told you guys is not like just the template. This is just something that I learned over the years. Um, what about Mona? Mona opened her camera, so probably she wants to say something.
Yeah, so for me, it's something like I wanna do it on my own first.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing that I don't do is like timing myself, and sometimes when I'm doing something, it's like I don't even um realize that I've been spending so much time on the task. So
Mm,
that's one thing that I need to improve on.
mm-hmm. Yeah. Thank you so much, guys, for being active in this meeting, by the way. I really like it. But yeah, Mona, that is like I am also guilty with that. I'll be like until now, I'll be like spending 2 hours with something, and yeah, you have to first of all, like you have to be good with estimating stuff. Like if there's if there's a task, you have to estimate, okay, I think I'm gonna take like 2 hours on this. If you're gonna take 2 hours, it means if it's already 1 hour, that's already like, oh, my time is ticking, like, and you still don't have an answer, you have to make an action. You have to do something. And yeah, so time boxing is really important. Um, yeah, that that is like a normal problem to have, and there is a solution. So yeah, hope that we all learn together and be more productive and effective. What about Sly? Sly, are you there? Okay, maybe he's busy. All right, Aldrin, you have anything?
I want to ask something like I have this trouble when I'm because I think I'm a visual learner.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not that fast reading the docs, but I encountered this so many times that whenever I want to look into something, I'll go to the documentation, and then whenever I encounter, like, say, a jargon, I'll dig deeper. Let's say there's a link to this article, then I'll go to that, and then it's like I'm consuming a lot of time because
Hmm.
I'm reading a lot. Like, oh, I don't know this. Okay, I'll try to read it, and then there's another link to something. Then you know that
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
the it's
know.
a rabbit hole.
That happened to me many times. So I think I'm having trouble reading the docs whenever I encounter something, because if I don't know this thing or this jargon, I want to know it right away, and then I'll go so much far to what
Mm-hmm.
I want to know. That. Do you have any tips on uh how to make it, like, uh how to, I don't know.
How to deal with it?
Yeah, yeah.
So that is called a rabbit hole. So it means it's never ending. If anyone can be in a rabbit hole, like I could be searching Next.js and then how is Next.js working? I could be going to JavaScript. I could be going to until you go into the binary. Would you go into the binary and say like how computer reads your code? You would you would go into that hole. But the one thing that you have to know and you have to learn is that you don't have to know everything. You don't have to know everything. It's okay to not know everything. You only have to focus. You will eventually learn it, but you have to uh, focus on the task at hand. Like if you're like working on maybe making a typography or making a new component and stuff like that, just focus on the task at hand, and you have to be aware, like, right? Like if you're going to, let's say you're doing typography, and then somehow you're like, wait, I think there's a typography on MUI. Oh wait, how does MUI work? Wait, who made MUI? And then you have to catch yourself like, why am I here? Is this relevant to my task? You know, so you have to catch yourself in these moments. I think I think I've this is a good topic for next time. There's something called um I talked to Raven about this already. There are three types. There are three types of people. Someone who is autopilot, someone who is fight or flight, someone who is a visionary. So usually, if you're on autopilot, you just, like follow everyone, and then you're not in control of your mind. You're not in control of like what's going on. And the fight or flight is like there's something about you do something and you become defensive, but it's something else. I don't think it's relevant here, but you have basically it's like autopilot or something that in control of what you're doing, and it applies to almost everything. I am also on autopilot like 10 years ago. Like I would just be breezing along and doing whatever everyone is doing, just following orders and stuff like that. But yeah, there is there's something called getting out of autopilot. Yeah, I feel like I've given you too many tips. Maybe this is like overload to you guys. Uh, but I will share this. I will share all my notes to you. Um, yeah, since Sly is back. Sly, did you have anything to share? Any thoughts? Any questions?
Hello, sorry, someone just suddenly called and it was an interview for a company. Sorry about that.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, but as for sharing, one of the ways I make it quick and effective to become or to develop some stuff is to just not overthink most of what I'm developing, since a lot of the time during my internship with the last company I was in, um, we only had a limited time to develop a full web app. And with the limited knowledge I have with Next.js during that time, I couldn't really use TypeScript to its fullest extent, but that also helped me in developing TypeScript apps because I wasn't really, or it wasn't really needed to use all the extravagant generics, all the typings needed, because since now that I've learned more about TypeScript, you can really trust on its inference. Therefore, just make it as simple as you can. Like think of it just as type JavaScript, which is it is. But yeah, you don't really need to use all the tools that you have at your disposal. Just use what you can during that moment and what's really necessary during that time.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, totally agree with that. Yeah, totally agree. Thank you, Sly. Okay. Mm, so we have like 10 more minutes. So do you guys have anything else like, or maybe like objections? Maybe you disagree with like one of my tips, one of my hacks. And I would like to know your thoughts about that. Or maybe you have an alternative. Maybe it's the mm, like because actually, the when I told you guys about the browser management, email management, notification management, um, my partner, for example, doesn't agree with that. Like, so, so you could be objecting that, but I don't know. For me, it works. I don't want to overload my brain with too many stuff. Uh, yeah. And you know what? I would like it's my dream, I think. Like it's my goal to see you guys grow and eventually you'll be the one who's like sharing to others about your own tips, your own hacks. And yeah, don't be afraid to like yes, just think about what works for you too. Yeah. So I hope it was helpful to you guys. I hope this was valuable. If I have time tomorrow, I was planning tomorrow we can have another session. Um, I would like to demo like me coding something. Maybe it will help you, hopefully. So yeah, if there are any other no other questions, yeah, I'll see you around Discord. Please don't be afraid to ask questions as long as, like you do your own research and you do the points that I told you before. Um, so yeah, thank you for your time. Thank you for being here. I'll see you around Discord. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank
Bye,
you.
guys.
Bye.
Thank you.